Hey everybody, welcome back to Gooseberry Homestead. So today I decided to have a little bit of fun with one of my apple trees that I grew from seed last year. This apple tree right in front of us is a Karoo apple, and well, it was grown from a Karoo apple seed, that is. However, everybody knows for the most part that anytime you grow an apple seed from a piece of fruit that you bought in the grocery store, chances are the fruit that it bears will most likely be a crab apple or a combination of two other types of apples, or sometimes even three, who knows. But the flavor is not going to be the same as the apple that you ate. Chances are you're not going to be able to taste the fruit of the apple that will be produced from the seeds that you grew for at least anywhere between 3 to 8 years. Believe it or not. It just depends on the tree, you guys, and how quick it decides to bear fruit. And so I'm not too overly worried about when this tree will actually produce fruit. I really don't care about any of that at all. I am just growing for the fun of it and to learn. And so I decided today that since I'm just growing this tree for fun, I might as well go ahead and have some fun with it. So I decided to bend this year's growth down, and I had already trimmed the tops of the tree, so I gave them some fresh new cuts, and then I scored the bark on the actual tree base itself, and I bent the limbs back around and created a heart shape on the tree just to see how that would look. And I'm actually kind of happy with the shape, and right now I'm leaving the limbs. I don't know if I will completely leave the leaves and that sort of thing on the limbs, but for right now I'm going to, because I think it kind of looks pretty. But I think in the long run I'll probably end up making sure that all of the leaves and all of the buds and all of that are removed. That way you can just see the shape of the heart. And I'll zoom in here, or I'll walk in so that you can get a better look at it. And so it's just a rugged looking heart, and it's actually really kind of pretty. I used blue painter's tape to keep it together. This isn't going to harm the tree in any way. The painter's tape generally doesn't leave a residue behind either, and so I had this on hand. You could probably use floral tapes, and they have special clear tape that is designed for this sort of thing. That might actually be better, because then you can see if you've aligned everything properly. And I'm hoping that nothing shifted after I put the tape around. I was holding it in place pretty good, so I have a feeling it's probably right where it is supposed to be. I made sure that the fresh new cuts at the tips and that on the bark of the trunk of the tree aligned, and enough space that everything can touch and possibly get established and grow into itself, so that the tips of the tree will actually grow into the trunk. And so that's my hope. And I've seen this before somewhere else, and they took all the spurs and things off of, and all of the growth and buds and stuff off of the heart section, and then just let that be like part of the trunk, part of the base. And so the wind's blowing it around a little bit. I don't think I'm going to stake it. It's kind of like coming in this way on each side of the branches. I'll do an overhead so you can kind of see, but it's, for the most part, it's pretty straight, up and down. I don't think I need to do any kind of staking to make it lay flat or anything. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. This was the heart shape that it created, and so I really like it, so I'm going to leave it. It looks kind of cool. And then I've got the branch coming up out of the top. Since this is going to be in a container, now it's not been grafted onto a rootstock of any sort. This is just like a test project, and I'm not too overly worried about this tree growing into a massive beast or anything like that, you guys. I'm not growing it to taste fruit that I ate 5 years ago or anything like that. I'm just growing for the fun of growing and to learn how to do something. And if this is successful, I can do it again after I've started getting into the grafting. And this is almost kind of a prequel for me for grafting, because in a sense I'm sort of grafting when I bring the branches in like I've done. And so this is for me just to see, can I do this? Can this happen? I mean, at any rate, I could always end up with the tree being close to the trunk and that sort of thing, and we'll just see how it works out, you know? So I like this. I think it looks really cool, and I'm excited to see it grow. I did top it off last month. I had trimmed some of the growth, and as you can see, we've got some new growth right here. Pardon my fingers, I've had my hands in the dirt today. And so it's got this growth here, and I don't know if that's fruiting spurs or if it's just new growth. I'm finding a lot of growth coming from the cracks where the leaves were growing on the main stem this year. The 3 main branches that grew up were from the trunk of the tree and continual growth. So this is what the continual growth from last year looks like after the winter. So we've got this little jaunt right here in the bark right here where this was overwintered, this section overwintered, and this is the new growth up. Okay, so that's what it looked like. I don't know why it did that, but it did. And then I've got the these 2 limbs here are new growth this year. So those were not on the tree last year. So all 3 branches that was on the tree now is all the growth from this year already. And so it was getting pretty tall, so I thought I would have some fun with it. You know, I will be moving in the future, and this will be one of the trees that I take with me. And I really love it. So while I'm showing you my apple trees, I'll show you all of my apple trees today. So this is the Karoo. It's not an actual Karoo. I just put the labels with them, you guys, so I know what seed I grew them from, okay? So I have it labeled Karoo, but it is its own tree. It will have its own fruit. It won't taste like the Karoo, I'm pretty sure. But you never know. Okay, so these are 2 grafted trees that I picked up at Home Depot. And really cool. All the fruiting spurs are growing really big on the Blushing Delight. And I did have 1 blossom on this earlier in the season. It was up, I can't remember if it was on this branch or if it was on this one. I'm wanting to say it was right here actually. But it fell off. It didn't produce any fruit because it was just 1 bud and it didn't get pollinated. So no fruit on that, boo-hoo, but that's okay. And all the other spurs are getting bigger on the stem or branch or whatever you want to call it. These are the columnar type of apple trees. I actually crisscrossed the stakes here and angled them out the other way because the trees were kind of leaning in a little bit too much, and that's actually helped stabilize them just apart just enough, because I have them planted in this same bin right here, and I'm gonna leave, this is my experiment, and I'm leaving them there. I planted Edelweiss down in here in between the 2 trees, and we'll see what grows. It looks like there's a bunch of weeds down there. It could be Edelweiss, I don't know, but it could be weeds too. I'm really good at growing weeds. So, and then on the Tasty Red, it's growing really good. A lot of the fruit spears are growing on this one as well. However, I'm noticing that the fruit spear growth is not quite as vibrant and bushing out as the Blushing Delight, but that's okay. There is still some growth on here. A little less growth down towards the bottom of the tree, but as you move up the tree, you'll start seeing a little bit more growth. And it could be due into part for this little beauty right here. And right here I have my very first apple that I've ever grown in my yard. There was a fruiting spear right here, there was a bud right here where this spear is growing. Right here there was a bud, and the bud fell off, and this spear is growing right here. And this apple started producing after the other blossom had fallen away. And I wasn't sure if I was going to get an apple because there was just the 2 blossoms on this. So apparently your blossoms on one tree can actually pollinate one another as well. So do we really need 2 trees? I don't know. There might be a tree somewhere out in my forest. I'm not exactly sure. One of my other neighbors may have some smaller trees like this as well. But I'm gonna bet right here and now that what happened here is the 2 blossoms were directly right next to each other, and I'm gonna take a scientific guess that the blossom that was right here pollinated this blossom, and therefore that's the reason why I have fruit. And it's gotten really big, and that's only taken about 2 weeks for it to get about this size, and so it's going to continue growing, and I'm really excited about this. It's really awesome. We got a really cool little spider right here. He's just hanging out. He's like, no, get away. But yeah, so really cool. And so those are those 2 trees, and I've got like I talked about, the stakes. And then I'll walk over here with my lineup of plants. Yeah, we're not gonna be moving for at least maybe 2 years. Who knows? We can move anytime. I have no clue. All right, so right here are my other apple trees, and these ones all grown from seed. Another apple popped up in this pot. You guys, there's apples. Apples keep popping up in all of my containers. I've tossed so many apple seedlings this year. It's not even, I can't even count, seriously, because I've just had so many that seeds I had planted long time ago just started appearing. Stuff I planted last year is sprouting, so it's just kind of crazy. So over here I'll share, I topped the tops to promote some growth, and you will be able to see that, especially with the Nikita. Over here is the one I grew from Nikita apple seeds. The tree is just absolutely gorgeous. Love the blossoms. My hose attacked it the other day, so I've got a couple dead leaves here and there. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one off. There, gentle. And so the tree is actually very beautiful. And as you can see, when I topped it, it's putting more growth right here. It's putting growth over here, along right there, and it's all coming out in the cracks where the nodes are, where the first leaves came on. Same one with this one here. We got this going on. Oops. So I've got growth coming out of the crack area, and so that's really good. I was hoping that it would promote more branching and maybe growing out a little bit more. I have not topped this one. This one is definitely a crab apple. As you can see, this was the one I was growing earlier in the season. It starts out with the red leaves, and the red leaves actually will turn to a green color. And if you look here, this is a dead leaf. If you look here on the underneath side, you can still kind of see some of the red underneath the leaf. And a lot of the leaves will have red underneath the leaves, but they will turn somewhat green, as you can see. And so it's really pretty. And that one was grown from an opal apple seed. And so some of the seeds looked like, this was the only one that looked like this. But this one also was grown from an opal as well. And then this one here is an ambrosia, grown from an ambrosia apple. And as you can see, there's some powdery mildew on the leaves, and looks like some rust spots on the leaves. So I'm not sure what's causing the rust, but there's some blackberries in the back that has rust on their leaves, and so that might be what's plaguing my apples. So I don't know if that'll affect the fruit at all, but I'm gonna grow them anyways. So I've sprayed them with neem oil to try to help with that, so we'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, so that's pretty much with the apples. There's a little one growing in this pot, and there was another one in this pot, but I don't know what happened to that apple tree the other day when I was gardening. I think it landed somewhere in the grass over here, and so I'm not gonna worry about it, so because I got plenty. So anyways, I'm definitely going to be keeping the Nikita for sure, possibly the ambrosia. I'm not quite sure. Wait, no, this one right here is Autumn Glory right here. And so I'll just have to wait and see how everything goes. anyways, that was pretty much it for the day, you guys. Thank you so much for watching my videos. Comment, like, and subscribe, and as always, click that bell button and have a wonderful day, and God bless. Bye.